Right, assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm bringing this emergency update now, and WIF has found its edge and it has started to climb up again. The story started when there was a huge depression in the market in there, and we started to see WIF, continuing sideways. On the private, I used to plan that, maybe if it comes down to 0.263, I'm going to actually buy WIF because of this trend line going on in there. So if it actually comes and touches 0.25 again, I could actually put a little bit of an entry, sell it up again at the top of that resistance at 0.45. That could have still been an amazing profit in there, but it never really touched the trend line. You can see that if we go on and zoom in here, then there was always that little bit of a gap. You can see that the touch wasn't really properly done, but eventually you started to break above, and you break so beautifully, and you moved up all the way to the upside, and from this point, from that price, you made it all the way up for 290% pump. Now, what happens next? What is going to happen next? Let's talk about that. And this is important because from this point onwards, I want you to be very, very careful. The price that you're trading in right now at 1.15, unfortunately, this price is a huge resistance right now, the place you're sitting at the moment. And let's go on and check the 4-hour, and let's see what the 4-hour is doing. Now, we almost still have like a little bit of a bullish, what do you call this, bull flag, almost like a bull flag here. So put a stop if you're trading at 1.049 or just a little bit below that flag. If this flag does play out, then we have another price increase coming up from top to bottom, and you're going to make it all the way up to 1.578, and that is going to be another jump of 35%. Now, something still tells me that it may not happen, that you go to that particular price target. Even if it was meant to happen and you're in a trade, better stop is going to be at 1.039 because of that flag lowest point, right? So if you go to the flag lowest point itself, you destroy the whole flag, and then you have to go out of the trade. Now, the thing here is that when you go on the daily time frame and you check and you zoom out of all the patterns in here, a lot of story is going to be visible. And one story in here that is really visible right now is that this, you can see that that's a huge place. Actually, it's not even a single line in here, it's actually more of a triangle. So let's take a triangle and let's drop the triangle just like that. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. So there's something known as supply and demand at the moment, and previously this was a demand box where you came down, the buyers were demanding the prices and they pushed it up, and then there's another move down of the demand box, and then they pushed it up again. Eventually you broke it down, and now you've come back up again, and whatever was demand back in the days is actually flipping into supply. Okay, which means that if this was support, it's turning into resistance, and right now you are hitting a resistance level, which means that this is not a good place to buy but a good place to sell, just the same way as this was a good place to buy and not a good place to sell, right? If WIF came down back in the days to that demand box, I would have told you not to actually sell because it's dropping, right? Now it's the opposite. It's going up, and I'm not going to say buy because it's pumping, because it's now sitting at huge resistance. Now, TA, sometime altcoins can do whatever they want to do. If big investors keep on pushing it up, that's a different thing. You can still pump a lot, and you can pump even back to the all-time high. That thing can be destroyed. TA can be destroyed. But if you still follow TA, just understand that this is the supply zone. And also, to confirm one more thing is that when you check the 4-hour time frame, this 4-hour, you can see it's at the very highest place of selling and not buying actually. So take a trend line and drop a trend line as well on the 4-hour. That's the best place to sell, not to buy, right? That's another hint. One more thing is that you've even pumped up 290%, so there's going to be potential rest. And also on the chart patterns, the 4-hour time frame shows that for a second, I'm going to remove the drawings again. So this is the exact place where you dropped previously. So you had that touch. I'm going to actually zoom out and show you what happened back here. So let's zoom in that detail. Yeah, so you can see that you touched that place and you got rejected here. You drop down and then you got rejected again and then you drop down. So you can see that this is exactly where you drop down back in history, right? Now, we've made that clear. That's the place where you drop down, right over here, okay? Right at that place. So if we take the trend line again and you drop the trend line to the side in there, and we're actually going to see this again, then you can see that there's a potential chance of pumping again up to maybe $1.3. Right, scalping wise, you can actually still get like 7%, 10%, or something like that. So yes, there's a little bit of a chances of coming up to $1.4, and then from $1.4, either you destroy that supply zone, right? There are so many scenarios you can do here. Either you break above the supply zone, go to 1.774, that would be a good sign, and then you retest 1.3, and then you can actually continue to go even all the way back up to maybe $4, or get rejected as you were being rejected in history. You get rejected here, maybe go down again, create maybe a cup and handle, and then you break above because we already have a cup right there or a rounded bottom right here. So many situations can be taken once you touch $1.4, which is hard to say right now, and time will tell. So you guys be prepared for whatever the scenario. And the scenarios are, I'm going to give you a summary. Either you break above, you retest the supply zone, and then you turn it into demand box once again, and then you start to fly to maybe $3-4, or just get rejected and start a deeper correction. And the next big support, if you ever go for a very big correction again, is going to be down right over here at $0.664. Okay, so this is where your next support can come in if you go for a bigger correction to the downside. And that's it for the video. I'm going to see you in the next one. Love is.